Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you here. We met at a dinner a few years ago, and I remember the second you told me what you did for a living, the room ceased to exist. I was like, wait. I need to lock in on this.
I love that.
I am obsessed with organization, truly, especially when it comes to closets, but don't go look at mine right now because it took me a while to get ready today. But I'm just such a big fan of what you do, and I think that building a closet, there's something to me, and maybe I have such like a personal experience with it, but growing up, my mom had a really big closet. She loves fashion.
Okay.
And she had a huge couch in her closet that my four sisters and I would like hang on with. And she was like, she was someone who would go out all the time. She would dress up every night, and my siblings and I would just sit on the couch and watch her get dressed. And it was a huge part of my falling in love with fashion. Wow. It was an incredibly formative time for me, both personally and professionally. So I have a soft spot for beautiful closet spaces.
Yay, I love that.
Which is your expertise.
It is.
So you've come to the right place. Tell me your background of what led you to the closet organization space.
I mean, as you said, so I grew up in Hawaii. I've always been sort of numbers oriented, very type A, very analytical. I thought I wanted to be an accountant. Then I was like, no, I want to be a scientist. Wow. And so I studied chemistry in college, thinking that I wanted to do research science. That part of my brain just is there. And then went, from there, thought, okay, maybe not the lab. And so I wanted to get out, went to business school, and then just sort of by happenstance got an opportunity to work in a design firm. And so it was there where at that time, kitchens and bathrooms were all the rage. And I thought, what about closets? Like, who's doing closets? And so just took a leap of faith and thought, I sort of wanted to be doing it at a high level. I wanted to take an interior design approach. So I didn't want to be a closet cabinetry company, but really, somebody that actually spends time thinking about the details and the process of the closet. And so when I think about any other space in the house, like how fitting for my brain, because it is like we're housing so many items in there, how many pairs of shoes, underwear, socks, everything. And you sort of have to make sense of it and then make it look pretty.
You were saying earlier that when you first started that the closet space wasn't the thing that people were paying attention to. Mm-hmm. And I feel like post-COVID, I saw, and even myself engaged in it, like the rise of the cloffice. Like so many like Architectural Digest tours of like these gorgeous closets with like a beautiful desk, or even so many closets that look like boutiques. What do you think it's been that has made this closet become like the kind of the focal point of living?
I love hearing that. I think with COVID, I think everybody was home. So from there, the request was, I need a place to work. And I think everybody was sort of like, my husband's here, my kid's here, they're doing Zoom there. And the closet just became the place where it's like, I want to work in there also.
Yeah.
And I love that because I think the more, again, with the luxury of space, that you can make the space multifunctional, multi-purposeful, I think the better, right? So it's become more than just, I'm going to put my clothes in there, I'm going to close the door, I'm going to change in the bathroom, but that it's a dressing room, it's a work area, it's entertainment, it's basically your sanctuary.
And I love the rise of like closet organization. That to me, my entire TikTok feed is closet organization.
Oh my God.
I'm proud to say.
Tell me your tips.
It really knows me well. Well, no, I cannot be giving you tips. That just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. But I'm actually curious for you, when you walk into a space, like what is your first approach to it? Like I can sit here and say, okay, I know how to organize my sock drawer and I know how to organize my sweaters. But for you, who's a professional who goes into closets every day, for people listening right now, what is that first step for you?
For me, it's taking inventory. So it's really just kind of getting to the nitty gritty and then at the same time, sort of editing with the client. So it's like, I need to make sure that the closet design itself is appropriate for what's in there. And I think my overarching philosophy is that you see everything at first glance and it's easy, like it's accessible. So whether it's a deep drawer, nothing is stacked below because you'll never wear it. If you look up, if something's shoved in behind, you're never going to use that. So I think, whether or not you can you need to hop on a step ladder, that's fine. But that once you're on that ladder, everything is visible. I think if you don't see it, then you won't wear it. And there's ways in closets to sort of do a pull-out shelf, do a rod that pulls down, sort of pay attention to the depths and the heights and the dimensions.
Okay, hot take. I hate a deep drawer.
What do you do?
I find that things get lost in there.
Yeah, I do too.
If you're not putting really thick sweatpants, what are you putting in them?
Right. I mean, other than sort of lounge, hoodies, things like that, I mean, I think when it's deep, it just gets buried. And so I think that too, like if you're taking on a project from scratch, like paying attention to the heights of drawers. And so we sort of do that during the inventory process. But I think that's also like not wasting the space. So if it's for underwear, jewelry, bikinis, why are you going to have a deep drawer?
I actually only have 3 drawers in my whole closet.
Oh, you hang everything.
I hang everything. I'm not a folder.
Because you just want to be able to see it.
I like being able to see it.
Yeah.
I find that when you fold things, you're 90% of the time going to wrinkle it to some capacity, especially if it's like a t-shirt.
Okay.
And I mean, I could fold my pants.
Yeah.
But I even like my sweaters are in a cabinet.
Okay.
Like on shelves.
Not hanging. Are they hanging or
No.
folded?
They're folded on the shelf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, besides, I think I have a drawer for like all my undergarments. I have a drawer for like t-shirts and like cozy PJs. And then I have a drawer for my athletic
I think that's everybody's, like, that would be their dream or their wish, is that everything is hanging. But 100%. It's just that they inherit a closet, they move into a closet, that's what it is. But I think also too for viewers, it's like, I think we're so good at just moving in and then just making that old closet work. But that, even if you don't do a full overhaul, you can raise rods, you can get new shelves, so you can really just in that way make it your own.
I mean, trust me, I am out of hanging space. Like, it is not, I am not living the high life, like with all my hanging space right now. I'm like having to sift through things. But yeah, I would just rather find a way to hang it than fold it and let it like collect dust in the back somewhere.
And how do you organize? Do you organize by style, color?
So my t-shirts, so I have 3 cabinets that like house my main clothing. One cabinet is all like dresses and skirts. My middle cabinet is all hanging shirts.
Okay.
And then beneath that are the drawers. And then my final cabinet, top row is jackets, and underneath it are pants.
And if everything was behind doors, solid, would you know where everything is?
Everything is behind solid doors, which was my biggest mistake.
Because you sort of...
For some reason, I was really passionate about having doors because I can be very meticulous, and I don't like the idea of like seeing everything if I'm shooting content or like...
Right.
It's not like my closet is this like beautiful neutral thing. I have a lot of color. I have a lot of prints. So I think I got nervous about feeling overwhelmed. But now... I just don't like the doors. Now I feel like it just traps everything in there, and I kind of wish I could see it all.
Yeah, it's like it has to be the right personality for solid doors.
Yes. Or I wish that they were glass doors so I could see on the inside. But, we live and we learn.
We do. Next closet.
There were so many things that I messed up on that I'd go back and rearrange.
And I feel like that's what clients say. They're like, I did that before, didn't like that, but I love this. And then it moves on to the next. And like style changes, how you dress, your lifestyle changes.
Totally.
Yeah.
You said something earlier that really piqued my interest, which is that, as people, we move into new homes and we just kind of make closets work for us. If you are someone that's starting from scratch like that, or maybe someone's listening right now who feels inspired to just feng shui the whole thing.
Yeah.
What are you doing if you're starting from scratch?
With that person?
Yes.
So really having a first meeting, taking inventory. So
say they're on their own though. Say you're not there.
Oh, say I'm not there.
Yeah.
I would say that they still take inventory. Like they need to go through that process. They need to, and I think we more or less know, but I think when we do it, it's, we also talk about like not only tops and blouses, but like medium hanging, long hanging, so that it all just sort of gets incorporated. But like you said, shoes, not how many flats, how many heels, how many kitten heels, how many high boots, how many low boots. What do you hang? What do you fold? I think all of those questions. How do you pack? How do you travel? How are suitcases going in there? Oh. What about laundry? Where is that?
That's the worst one.
So I think it's just, all of these questions, sort of like really dissecting how you live, how you want, and then, thinking about all of your storage spaces at one time.
Are there elements right now that somebody could add to their pre-existing closet to make it better? Like I liked earlier, you were like, add a valet hook.
For sure.
I wish I did that because I'm someone who like pulls.
You still can.
I know, I should on the inside. I'm someone who like pulls looks, or like if I'm getting ready for a dinner, I want to have it hanging. So smart.
And that's just like my favorite thing, like especially if you're in like a tight wardrobe space or you don't have a lot of space. That's basically your staging area, right? That's your packing. So the valet hooks I feel like are so essential, and then just drawer inserts. And you don't have to do super custom, but you can go to a California Closets, you can go to Container Store, and then just sort of build out the inside so that it's organized and that you could see everything in that drawer.
I think people really underestimate how organizing your closet and having a space like this can truly change your everyday.
Life-changing.
Yeah. How has it helped you?
Oh my God. I feel like I'm an organized person. So for me, it's just what I do, but it's also, I don't see any other way. But I think for my clients who maybe aren't organized, and then they're sort of, we design it and we have a place for everything, life-changing for them, to be able to, people cry because it's, you start and end your day in the closet. And if it's already just cluttered and you don't know what you're wearing the next day, and then you're packing for a trip, like it's just already sounds so stressful, right? And then you're going to work, but then you're also going to go work out. So then you have to plan and you have to pack for that day. I think, if you don't know where anything is, like think about how stressful that is, how much time that takes every morning. So I feel like it's not only empowering, when you think about like when you work out, or if you have like a little workout area in your closet, how much more motivated you are to go work out when you could pull out that sports bra or that skirt and exactly what, and you're excited to wear it. You're excited to plan for the next day. I think it just becomes like a ripple effect.
I get ready 10 times faster when my closet's organized.
Right?
I know exactly what's there.
Yeah.
I know where it is, and I feel confident about what I'm putting on.
Right.
I clean out my closet every 6 months.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I think like that brings up, just sort of what can you do to organize, or like when do you do it? And do you just do it once a year? And, I'm a fan of sort of maybe not every day, but just putting plans in place so that you could do it every day. And I think, I do hampers and I'll do various liners. So you'll have laundry, you have dry cleaning, you'll have tailoring, you'll have that has a, I'm going to donate it. But just sort of, you take it out and it doesn't fit, take action, right? Like I think we're so used to, oh my God, and then put it back in. And it's like thinking about it like it's taking up real estate versus just like taking action immediately. So like once you get in the habit of that, it just really starts to become a habit.
That to me is the biggest closet tip.
Oh,
truly.
Really?
I think the reason we get our closet so cluttered and full of things that we don't like to wear is because we fill it with things that we don't take action on. So you buy a pair of pants, you just put it back in the closet before you go get it tailored, if you need to go get it tailored. You put something on, you don't really like it, but then you put it back in the closet.
You put it back in.
I think having a system in your closet, if you are someone who loves fashion and you're, buying new things and you're always an active participant in fashion, having these different systems in your closet to say, this is going in the laundry, this needs to go to the dry cleaning or the tailor.
Right.
This I'm not loving right now. I'm going to consider donating it. If not, it's just going to build up in your closet.
Right.
Genius.
And even put that system in your laundry, I don't know, somewhere else.
So it doesn't need to be in the, if you have a small space, it doesn't need to be in your closet.
Right.
It can be in your laundry. It doesn't have to be this like whole display. But I think just knowing where to put things is everything.
It's everything. And just knowing, like, especially if you're in fashion and you get so many things, and just knowing, like, if something comes in, something kind of has to go out. Like, otherwise your closet will just bulge out. But, just I think once you get sort of addicted to that, once you see their space or, once you see it edited, you just don't want to go back. Like, you just know, the whole thing, like shopping in your closet, I like to say. And why do we love shopping in boutiques? Why do we love that so much, right? And you think about, it's well lit, it's not cluttered, it's just so curated, we love it. And, you can do that for yourself.
So I was saying earlier that I clean out my closet once every 6 months. I get like an itch, and it usually happens when I'm coming home from a trip and I'm about to unpack, and I have this gut feeling that I know it's all not going to fit. And I go crazy. I have a system for cleaning out, which is that I usually take everything out of the one section. I clean the section down because dirt gets, you never know. And then if it's items that I'm wearing frequently, they get to go back. But if it's something I haven't worn in a while, I have to physically put it on, make sure that there are like no holes, make sure it doesn't need to be tailored.
Yeah.
And then it like goes with everything in my closet. And I do that for all of my sections. I'm curious for you. I actually remember the first time I had a friend who's an organizer come over and clean out my closet with me. Okay. And I was very resistant. It was the first time I'd really done it with someone else.
Yeah.
And I'm curious for you what that experience is like. How do you help someone decide what to keep or get rid of?
You know, it's so funny. Like, I was thinking about that on my way here, and maybe it's also part of what I do. I don't know. Like, I'm pretty small in stature. I think I come in pretty unassuming. So it's like we're in your underwear drawer and suddenly people feel comfortable. And I think that's helpful, right? Because it's such a personal space, and you know, you're suddenly talking about underwear or trying something on, and somebody's just had a baby, or you know, so I think my approach is I ask a lot of questions, and I'm not super, you know, you got to get rid of that looks terrible, because there's so many pieces in the closet that are sentimental value, or there's attachment, right? So I think it's just asking so many questions about it, and then ultimately letting them know that, you know, something does need to go. So it's like, if you haven't worn it, sure, that you need to take action. But I sort of take a delicate approach, but still get the job done.
That makes a lot of sense. My personal philosophy is if I haven't worn it in a year and it's not a specialty item,
right,
like a family heirloom, a designer, a vintage piece, it has to go.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you also say you have to make a few outfits with that one piece?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a big learning lesson for me last year, was I had kept on to a lot of things that weren't working with my closet as a whole. So like if I try something on and I'm like, oh, I have to buy a new pair of pants to really make this work.
Right.
I'll usually be like, okay, let's give it a new home. If it's too complicated. Yeah, I feel like filling your closet with things that all work together is another thing that's super important.
Right. And then you can have a few outliers, but if they're all outliers, then no.
I had the founder of Tibby on the podcast last year, and she brought up such an interesting way of organizing your closet. And I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. So instead of organizing by category, like tops, skirts, jackets, she organized her closet based off of, and she has a whole kind of dictionary for this. One side of her closet is like had to haves, like things that like maybe were really trendy that she just had to buy and she wants to keep in her closet forever. Then she has an area of her closet that's like, again, those like a sequin skirt that she's not wearing every day.
Yeah.
And then she has all of her everyday pieces.
Okay.
And so I wonder if you think that there's value in organizing your closet by like event, like what you are going to go do in life for that day.
So I'll do that also. So it really depends on the person.
Okay.
So I think what you're describing is like by function.
Yes.
So we'll have like formal wear, you have athletic, you'll have, you know, whatever that like the function is. And if that works for the client, sometimes for them it's color, right? Like it just all the formals with the casual with the athletic, but it's all by color. And,
oh, wow. So like starting from the beginning of the closet to the end in a rainbow.
Or then it's by, so I feel like I'll start with whatever is like the most important to the client, right? And if it's, they see it as like event, athletic, then I think we start there. And then within that, then I'm organizing by the hanging height, and then I'm organizing by color.
Okay.
So like whatever the style, if it's a long sleeve, then I go from there to short sleeve to tank top. But I think having those categories is important. And I think it just depends on like the person's lifestyle.
I'm going to give it a try when I move eventually.
Yeah.
Because even now when I open like my cabinet that has like all my dresses in it, sometimes I'm searching for a day dress, but I have to sift through all the like gowns I've bought for weddings to find it. And it can be a little inefficient.
Right.
So I'm curious. I might try it for my next closet.
Or like resort. So then you'll have a resort section. You'll have athletic. You'll have, Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Are there any, for people listening right now who have gone through this clean out process, right? They've taken things out of their closet. They've gotten it to a point that it feels good. What are some small daily habits that you think are helpful to keeping the closet organized?
I think, you know, that's kind of creating that system that we talked about. So whether that looks like a hamper bag or if it looks like a basket to you or whatever that is. But I think in order to maintain that, I think you sort of have to be editing sort of daily, you know? So anytime you pull something out, sort of be always thinking like, should I take action? Does it not fit? And I think that'll also just help. And then, you know, putting away your things at the end of the day. So not being somebody that just throws it on the ground and then, oh my gosh, because then within a couple days, your closet's gonna, not be organized anymore. So I think having areas. So I think the valet rod too, like if you're somebody that wears jeans, but then, needs to air dry it, then have a place for it so that it's not just thrown on the ground or things are not shoved. And I think once you have that system, it also promotes you not just wanting to mess it up. So if your drawer already, when you open it, is organized, then you're sort of not inclined to then shove the shirt back in versus maybe folding it back in.
I will not go to sleep every night unless I've put everything away.
Oh my gosh, me too.
I can't.
I can't even function in the morning if it's
like leaving dirty dishes in the sink.
Yeah, like an unmade bed.
There's just I'm such a morning person, and I really value my morning routine. And walking into my closet in the morning and having stuff everywhere is an immediate sign that my day is about to be derailed. I'm just like, you didn't set yourself up for success.
Yeah, exactly.
What about small spaces? What do you think? What's your best piece of advice for someone who lives in a small space, wants to stay organized? Do you have any things that you love to implement when you're dealing with a smaller space?
I think with a small space, what I tend to find is that people are not using every single square inch of height and depth in a closet. That it's suddenly, you're not using the top shelf area. It's not blown out. It's not floor to ceiling. It's just up to the soffit. You're not, a drawer, it's not utilizing the full depth. So I think especially there where it's like the real estate is so valuable.
That's me right now.
Yeah, is doing that.
There's a full couple feet that I'm just not utilizing. I know.
So that could be more hanging, could be more shelves.
No, it's the top of a cabinet.
Oh, okay.
My wedding dress is up there right now, but we could use some other.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about putting bags up there, but I have that exact same issue. It's not a small space, but I have cabinets where I'm not utilizing those couple inches up on top.
And I think that's a lot of people where it's like, oh, I don't, they can't even visualize. They don't know what that could be for. But it's when you've got tight quarters, think about that. That's probably 25% of your closet that you're not using.
So what do you recommend? Because right now for some of my cabinets above, I have white linen boxes that have ski stuff or things that are seasonal.
I think that's great. I mean, that's even better than just nothing up there, right?
So I'm sure people could put bags up there.
You could put bags, you could do shelves. Sometimes I see where you could add an additional rod, but I think people think that that's so daunting that they couldn't, but that's another row of hanging.
Wow.
And then just maybe pull out shelves. So, that's something where cabinet maker could do, a contractor friend, if you don't want to hire a closet designer. But I feel there's ways to improve it. And I think not as expensive as people might sort of think, but just sort of simple ways. But beyond that, I think, I love a boot tree. I love a purse pillow.
I love a boot tree.
A drawer insert. Yeah. So I think those are just easy ways to sort of build out the drawer. So even if you've got a deep drawer, let's do dividers in that so that you can utilize the full height of that drawer if that's what you've been given.
Actually, my husband's closet in this house is small. Sorry, I took all the space. But he doesn't need it. Yeah. But when we moved in here, I think the Container Store actually has a program, and he has a traditional sliding door. Maybe I think 3 different row closet, and we actually went on there and designed a whole function, an insert basically.
Right.
Based on the clothes that he has that would work well for that space.
Great.
It works really well, and he was able to fit everything perfectly, and I liked that we were able to customize it for what he had. So they had us count the shoes, and they had us do we want drawers? Do we want hanging shelves? It was a really, really great function, and if I was living in New York like I used to, I would 100% be using that.
Yeah. I mean, so it's that. It starts with those questions, right? Where your inventory, what do you have?
Yep.
And I think the more people that do that start the process, and then it's just an education, right? You then see what that organized living looks like, feels like, and then you just get kind of addicted.
Are there any non-negotiables for a closet? I know you said inserts earlier, but I'm curious for people listening who are, wondering how to store bags and shoes in a way that keeps them looking good and doesn't keep them smushed.
Yeah.
What are some closet non-negotiables for you?
For me, beyond just the things, I think it's just being able to see everything. So I start with the design first, right? Where I look at it and it's you have to be able to see everything. If it doesn't, you need to make that drawer smaller. You need to figure out inserts within it. But then, beyond that, some of the non-negotiables are just taking care of the things. And so for me, that's boot trees. It's, you know, having inserts in them so that it stays, it's maintained, it's standing straight. Purses, if you don't have the luxury of space, you might not be able to front face them. You might have to do, you know, that this way. And then just, again, like, I think the inventory is so important because bags come in all sizes, wallets come in all sizes. And so a wallet might not need the same size as a, you know, space as a bag. So then creating sort of smaller drawers for wallets and accessories and things like that. But I like to do the purse pillows. And then it also, you can kind of dust it, you know, you can then use it as a stuffer. And then I think too, shoes, like it depends on, you know, I think taking care of your shoes, which we kind of talked about. We
talked about my mama.
Yeah.
It's so funny. She walked in the amazing Chanel ballet flats, and I have them as well. And hers are like in pristine condition, and mine are so beat up. I think when I got them, I loved them so much, I maybe wore them to death.
Yeah.
But my mom growing up would always say to me, "You're so hard on your shoes." And I don't know what that means, Mom. I think she means that maybe I like scuff my feet, or I'm just... Maybe I'm
you
not,
sound happy.
Not graceful.
You're just skipping along.
I guess so. Like, I don't really know what that means, but it is true when I look at the difference in our ballet flats. Yeah. Like, mine are really scuffed up. And so asking selfishly for advice here, like, what are you doing in your closet? But then also, as someone who travels a lot, how are you packing your shoes so that they don't get messed up when you travel?
I'm using those shoes bags.
But are you stuffing the shoe too?
I am stuffing the shoe.
Stuffing a heel.
And I'm also stuffing the bags too, because there's nothing worse. I ruined a bag that I didn't stuff.
Me too.
And it just wasn't its right shape. It turned out it's another bag.
It never came back again.
It never came back again. Yeah. And I'm so scared of that.
In those 6 hours, guys.
Scared of it.
Yeah.
But even just at home, like I wear my shoes and I come back and I sort of clean it before it goes in. So it's almost part of that process of, you know, not only are you folding your things back in or you're taking action, like is that going to the dry cleaners, but just cleaning the bottom of it before I put it on, you know, the shoe shelves. So that's my way of maintaining.
Okay, noted. Absolutely noted. Yeah, I need to get better at taking care of my shoes.
Are you the type of person that just, no matter how expensive or how formal, or you know how people save china and they're like,
yes,
that we can only use it for that one time ever, right? Versus using your china for every day, or like if friends come over. Are you that way with clothes?
No.
Oh.
I'm not precious with my clothes. I want to wear it.
You wear it. You just wear it.
I wear it whenever I like.
If it's a nice special thing, you wear it, you high-low it or whatever.
Oh, yeah. All the time. And I think this is another thing I got from my mom. Like, clothes are meant to be worn and enjoyed. And I really get a lot of use out of all the things in my closet.
You know, my alterations person like gave me the best advice. And, you know, there was somebody in front of me and she was trying on black after black after black after black.
Right.
And I'm somebody that also probably like you, I like color. I like, you know, it just depends on the day. It depends on the event. So I might be in, you know, a color, black. I saw black. And I went, wow, I think I wear too much color. Like there's something to that. And so when she left, I said, do you think I'm too colorful? And she goes, oh my God, how boring is that? Black, that's all the same. Yeah. And she said, you're meant to have fun. You're meant to wear what you have.
Yes.
And I left there going, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think clothes are meant to be worn. You're meant to have fun with them. They're not meant to sit in the glass box, and they're not meant to sit in the shoe box collecting dust. Like, obviously, there are certain things that, you know, I'll keep forever. Like my wedding dress is going to sit in the box until someone wants to use it.
Yeah.
But the other things, I really am a big believer that clothes can bring you so much joy in life. And so I'm reaching for them. I'm putting them on all the time. I'm not just keeping them for the special occasions.
Yeah, because that comes up too. Like people have bags that are in dust bags in boxes behind doors.
Why?
And, you know, they're like, well, what about the dust? And that comes up. And to me, my philosophy is like, the dust, right? Like then we can do doors. There are things, but if you don't even see it, you're not going to wear it. You're not going to enjoy it. You're
Never.
not, right?
Never.
So I'm sort of proponent of sort of getting things out so that you can enjoy it, use it, wear it. So if you don't see it, then I think, you know.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my own closet and the things that I just don't see, even the way my bags are organized right now. If you don't see it, you're just not even going to think about it. Out of sight, out of mind.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It's just if you don't see it, you don't wear it. And I think, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
100%.
so I just encourage my clients to sort of, use it, wear it. So just like your philosophy, right? See it and enjoy it. Have it go in the rotation because you can think about it, right? You see it.
Life is meant to be lived.
Yeah.
Wear the dress. Wear the heels. Do it all. I would love to hear a little bit about any innovations that you're really excited about in the space right now. If there's something new that you're feeling is going to change the way we work in closets.
Oh my God, hear this. I'm so excited for technology.
Okay.
I'm so excited to install smart mirrors in closets. So think Clueless. Think about all your inventory in the mirror.
Is this a real thing?
This is a real thing.
Okay.
This is you're getting it firsthand here.
Okay.
I'm so excited because I feel like the time is now.
Yeah.
Right? Clueless came out 30 years ago.
Yes.
And I've just tried over the years, and it's like I'm trying to send somebody to the moon. It's been very difficult.
Right.
But I've sort of figured out the technology.
Okay.
And I think I want to install these in closets. To make the dressing process more fun, to make it easier, to streamline it, to be more efficient in the morning, and just as a way, like you see everything that you have.
So tell me a little bit more about this. Is it a mirror that holds your inventory? Because the first thing that's kind of coming to mind right now is utilizing AI and ChatGPT to be like, hey, I have these jeans on and I want to wear this top, but it's not looking so good. Could you recommend maybe something else?
Absolutely. So it's that. So it's apps in there with AI. So I've also been installing sort of Josh AI. Okay. So, I think there's lighting in the closet, but what about sound in the closet? What about speakers? What about invisible speakers in the closet? So just really kind of dialing up the experience part of the closet. So if you're in there, if you're dressing, if you've got a glam team, if you've got friends over, it's just another layer of that. But I think the smart mirror portion, like I just want to make that process easier for people. I want to make it more fun. I want, hey, I'm going to Hawaii. It's 70 degrees there. What should I wear? And then it just sort of pull up looks.
Genius.
Oh my God.
Genius.
You'll be the first to.
That is so cool. And I think so needed.
So needed.
I just, even now I wake up in the morning and if I don't have an idea for the day, I'm scrolling Pinterest. Yeah. It's like, how can we make that part of our homes every day?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Because technology has really come so far in so many aspects of our life, right? But how can we incorporate that into closets? How can we make it more fun or more expert, just.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done some pretty incredible closets.
Thank you.
In my research, I heard that you did a 3-story closet once.
I did.
In Bel Air?
In Bel Air.
Tell me what's on the 3 floors.
Take a guess. What do you think? What's on the... How did she organize this? How did I design it?
So is the... Oh, now I'm scared. Is the ground floor the floor that you would go out to the world into?
The first, so above it is where you go out into the world.
Okay, so I would make that floor shoes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
You're thinking Neiman Marcus here.
Yeah. You have 3 stories.
Yeah.
It's a store at that point, no?
Yeah, and that's sort of what we had in mind.
Or no, I would maybe do outerwear on that floor. I would do whatever that person is picking up last.
Okay.
Almost.
That makes sense.
On the floor.
Yeah.
I failed this test. She's giving me the face. Okay, tell me how you did it.
We did formal on the top floor.
Yes, that makes sense.
Right? And then the main floor, the second, we did casual. So everyday. Okay. We called it everyday.
The everyday floor.
And then below was seasonal and a safe room, jewelry, things like that.
Okay, I love that.
You like that?
Yeah.
So, that worked for the client. But I kept thinking like, this is Neiman Marcus. Oh my God.
It's a store.
It's a store.
Wow, 3 stories sounds incredible. Was there like a couch on every story?
Yeah.
Elevator?
Everything.
Oh, so we're talking like a huge space here.
Huge space. Yeah.
I'm aligned with you.
You're aligned.
I'm aligned. Because if it's huge space like that, I don't want to walk through all the floors to get ready. I want my first floor.
Yeah. So like it made sense that was every day.
Yeah.
So you had everyday shoes and bags. So every floor, so formal, you had shoes and bags up there, but it was like the formal shoes and formal bags.
Was the elevator designed?
You mean custom designed?
Was it like pretty on the inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like if you go in the Tory Burch store now, there's like a chair in the elevator. And there's like wallpaper and like beautiful stone floors. I'm very here for the dressed up elevators.
You are?
Yeah. I want to sit on the elevator ride. Yeah.
So that was a project that started pretty early on in my career. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to have another one like that? It was just bananas. But, so since then it's, I've got projects in the Middle East, and there it's,
That's
you
a
have the
different world.
luxury of space, and it's become multi-rooms.
Wow.
So not necessarily building, 3-story, but it's like 6 rooms as part of her dressing area. So think hair, right? So like a salon.
You need a glam room.
You have the glam. You had the jewelry room. You had a packing room. So all the suitcases were all in there. Wow. You had the everyday
I love
clothes.
a packing room, by the way. Like if I had all the money in the world, I'd have like an entertaining room in my house that just held all the entertaining stuff. Stuff for kids' birthdays, thank you cards, thank you gifts.
Yeah.
A packing room where just the suitcases live. Yeah.
I mean, when it has its dedicated area, it's so satisfying. And
yeah.
Right? And I would say even in my humble house,
Yeah.
it's like I've got storage cabinets sort of in the kitchen area, but I'm not somebody that cooks a lot. So it just like, again, it depends on the person, right?
Life is less overwhelming that way.
It is.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, what's on the bucket list? You've done 6-room closets. What else do you want to do?
Well, we've talked about how I love sports.
You've done a golf closet.
I've done a golf closet.
With a putting green in it.
I've done basketball. I've done basketball. I feel like we live in LA. Celebrities are, right, of course, like they're like anyone else. But I think I go goo over professional athletes because I love sports so much.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, probably LeBron James. Like if I could do
that'd be cool.
his closet, that would be great. And then probably on that list, maybe a royal closet.
Oh.
What would that be like?
Wow.
Right? So that feels bucket list.
Because a royal closet to me is like, that's also a gallery.
You're
also
archive.
Showing, you're showing important pieces of history.
And I think that would oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
This really scratched my favorite itch of all time. I loved talking to you about this, and also hearing about the innovation in the space is very cool and exciting, and I cannot wait to see that one day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.